Happy Saturday, Sainers. Welcome back to the Saints TV YouTube channel. I was just out having some brunch. Nice sunny Saturday. And we see the news. Another player has confirmed that they would like to play at St Kilda, which is very exciting. This time, it is Premiership hero, West Coast Premiership hero, Liam Ryan, Flying Ryan, the electric small forward, has today confirmed his desire to play for St Kilda. Despite being contracted for another season, St Kilda's offer is widely believed to be a 3-year deal with a trigger for a fourth to 3 years on roughly $600,000 per season. Obviously, he is contracted, which means a trade is going to still have to get done. But I kind of alluded to it in a previous video that I thought he would only nominate St Kilda if there had already been negotiations and obviously conversations about what that deal might look like. The talk around AFL World is he's probably worth a late second, maybe third round pick. Obviously, you can trade futures. Right now, our picks land at 7, 43, and 58. So whether we can upgrade 43 and 58 and bring that in, I'm hoping that would be something to get done. No players to be traded to the West Coast Eagles. It'll just be picks. So future picks will come into play, and no doubt this deal will get done pretty comfortably. It's the first out of the three that we've seen. Obviously, Tom De Koning, Jack Silvani, and now Liam Ryan. But Liam Ryan, I think, is the first one out of those three where we're not going to be too worried about what the cost is, because you know what you're going to get from Liam Ryan. Obviously, he's a player that is very exciting, can create a goal out of nothing, loves to fly for the football and take a mark. And I think that's what sets him apart from our current small forwards. Partnering him with Jack Higgins would be very, very exciting. And obviously we've seen throughout the season that we haven't seen much of Dan Butler. Liam Henry's been in and out of the team with mixed form, and obviously Lance Collard. Perhaps this is a great inclusion in terms of his experience and helping educate him to get the best out of him, as he's a young small forward in his own right, and having an experienced premiership small forward like Liam Ryan could absolutely help get the best out of Lance Collard in years to come. So I think this is a really good pickup, to be honest. Obviously, he's had his injury concerns. He's missed a bit of football over the journey. I don't think he's played a full season really ever. I think the most games he's played in a season is 24 in 2019. And then since then, he's played 18, 14, 17, 3, 16, and 20 games just gone this season. He was actually pretty instrumental in their win against us this season. So, St Kilda know him pretty well because of that. And when I think about Liam Ryan, and when we play West Coast at really any point, he's probably one of the top 5 players from the Eagles that I'm always worried about in terms of a matchup, because he's not your standard small. He's not just a crummer. He can push up the ground. He's a great ball user in his own right. He can create a goal out of nothing. But what sets him apart is the fact that he flies for marks, and he can take an absolute hanger as well as just a really strong contested mark. And we just don't have that in the forward line. I think you look at our forward line, you look at where we got our goals from this season, we missed a lot of sort of presence at ground ball. We relied very heavily on the likes of Jack Higgins. So I think this is a great pickup to sort of balance out the pressure and obviously the weight of Higo. Higo's had a career best season, but he sort of had to because we had no other smalls down there to really chop out and support him. And perhaps this is, Ross mentioning during the season that he would like to see Higo push up the ground, maybe get into the midfield a little bit more, having an experienced small forward sit deep and be sort of your stand and deliver X-factor type player in Liam Ryan would be a really good fit for us. And he's 28. I think he's 29 going into next season. Probably got, let's say, 2 to 3 years, hopefully, left in him, close to full seasons as much as we can. This was a big move for him because West Coast are in a bit of a rebuild at the moment. So I guess on his side, you'd be thinking, do I stick around here I'm probably never going to see finals or a premiership again. Maybe I cash in one last time and look to move to a club that maybe, hopefully, in the next 12 to 18 months could be climbing up the ladder and competing again. So I think Carlton were interested. I think a number of clubs would have been interested. Carlton, absolutely, I know we're interested. We were interested from the get-go. We've been interested in everyone, so it's no great surprise. But for him, I think it fits an absolute need for us. I think for most of the season, if Jack Higgins didn't perform as a small, we just didn't have any representation in that capacity. Max Hall obviously filled the void, but with Max Hall pushing more into the midfield, Darcy Wilson will play higher up on a wing. We didn't have anyone else, you know. Mitch Owens missed the back end. We've got a lot of medium-sized talls, but having some maturity like Ryan, I think, is invaluable. And obviously, he's a premiership player. So the more players that we get that have played in a system that's won a flag, that's been there and done that, I think is important. And an X factor, like just X factor, bums on seats, exciting. You don't know what you're going to get from him. A long ball comes in, you think Max King's going to take the hanger. It could be our new small forward, you know? His aerial ability, his speed. I think his ball use is underrated. I think he connects mids and forwards really well. He's a good lead-up forward as well as taking a hanger. His forward pressure, I know West Coast Eagles fans will say it dropped off this season, but it's very much hard to judge a small forward in a system that's only won a handful of games, really, the last couple of seasons. So he's played in a team that's been flogged every week, not getting the ball down there enough, but he still has found a bit of the ball and kick goals. And he's got a bit of versatility. I think as well as Higo pushing up into the contest, I could easily see Liam Ryan pushing up around the ball and being explosive out of there and hitting a player inside 50. I think having more players that can do that, having Higo do that, having Ryan do that, Max Hall do that, Darcy Wilson, Filippo will play both forward and mid, obviously more mid probably, but having that mix of sort of medium size to smalls, going from being a goal threat to obviously being a further up the ground midfield threat, I think is really important. And like I said before, I think he'll help the likes of Lance Collard. Maybe this is putting a question mark on Dan Butler. And obviously Liam Henry, he's not going to go anywhere, but played him a bit this season. He's played a lot of time at Sandy, obviously, coming off an injury. So we don't really want to put too much on a Liam Henry, who I guess hasn't got a run at it yet off the back of his injury. And obviously Lance Collard, who's only been in the system for a year or two. So this to me is perfect. Higo's coming into his prime. Liam Ryan is in his prime, I would say, minus his injuries. He's in his prime, 28, 29. That's perfect age if you want to be climbing up the ladder now. And I think, if anything, it's just really exciting. I've always worried about him when playing against him, and to have him in the lineup, I think is only going to make our forward line more threatening. Our forward line this season has been a mixed bag. We've missed Max King. We haven't had small representation down there. We need to kick more goals. And Liam Ryan, if he's not kicking them, I think he'll have a big say in sort of setting them up. He is a high score involvement player. His numbers match that of Jack Higgins. His pressure acts match that of Jack Higgins. Obviously, his goal output's dropped off a little bit. I think he averaged 1.2 goals per season. This season, Higo was averaging about 2. But we're talking about Higo, who could have been All-Australian this season, and Liam Ryan, who's playing in a team that won 1 game. So if he's averaging 1.2 there, hopefully in a system that gives him more opportunities, means more goals and more chances to impact winning games for St Kilda. So Liam Ryan has nominated St Kilda. Very, very exciting news. That is now 3 players that we've locked in for next season. I'd imagine early pick in the 30s. Maybe some futures gets traded or something like that. We'll get it done. 3-year deal with a trigger for 4. Liam Ryan, high-flying Ryan, is going to be a St Kilda player in 2026, at least for the next 3 seasons, which is really exciting. So let me know in the comments what you think about this decision. Are you excited by it? Do you have question marks on it? Obviously, his body needs to hold up, and that is the big question mark. But if we can get Liam Ryan pretty fit and firing for the next couple of seasons, that only makes our forward line more dangerous and takes a bit of the heat off Higgins and makes it harder to match up on Jack Higgins and other players down there, because he's so dangerous at ground ball, but also in the air, as we've seen. So very exciting news. Good news for a Saturday. I'll take that. So thank you very much, St Kilda. And hopefully you enjoyed the video, Sainers. So on that note, thanks very much. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Take care. And as always, go you mighty Sainers. See you guys.